What's happening, guys? Kenny here again, and today I've got another hype versus reality review for you, and it's gonna be about this little guy. That's right, I know a lot of you guys have been looking forward to this review. This is the Spyderco Mantra. And yes, this is the discontinued version with the titanium scales and flipper tab and Spidey hole and all. Yep, this is the original Mantra. And yeah, I'm doing it in the hype versus reality fashion today. So, getting right into it, I'm gonna go ahead and put the specs on the page right here, right now, guys. Get that out of the way. Don't wanna waste your time. So, and then we're gonna get right into some size comparisons, and might as well bring in some of the Spyderco brethren. This is gonna be the PM2. You can see you got a lot more handle here. Not that much more blade there though for the handle to blade ratio. Yeah, and then you also don't have the finger choil, so you get a lot of cutting surface. Here's the Para 3. That's a little bit more, close size comparison there. If you're looking at cutting surface here, guys, that's as much as the PM2. That's right. In this little guy, you get as much cutting ability as the Para 2, the PM2. So, yeah, excellent cutting performance as far as blade to handle ratio on this guy. Yeah, a little bit of getting a little ahead of myself there, guys. But yeah, so I'll bring in a few Benchmates to compare. Here's the 940, and then the Bug Out. I know everyone's probably got one of these too, so it'll give you a good size comparison. You can see what's going to fit in your hand. Yeah, and of course, let me go ahead and get something. I'm going to have to sorry about that, guys. I don't know how I could do a size comparison without this guy. I needed to have him here. That's pretty much, you're looking at almost the same exact knife if you're looking at just handle to blade. This guy does not get as much cutting surface because of that ricasso there. But, I mean, if you put these guys on top of each other, the handles are almost identical. But, yeah, this is almost like an upgraded version of the Delica. So, I'm going to keep this guy up here because, for one, a little bit of eye candy with that patinaed blade, but also, or acid etched, I should say. But also because this is a great comparison. If you have a Delica and you love the Delica, this is pretty much a upgraded Delica. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get into my review. This is going to be, again, the hype versus reality. And I am reviewing this a little bit. I'm going into this a little bit quicker than I normally would just because I want to get this guy out. This is going to be coming to you, Steve, as you probably well know. He's been handing all his knives out to everyone around town. I should say around the country. So I know a bunch tested. Rockwell tested. Also, he's just loaning. He's got, two of his knives are with me right now. Oh, this is my carry today. And then, of course, let me go ahead and bring this guy in. Be another comparison as far as size. That's the Sabinza 25. And then I might as well show you the Freak. But yeah, so I've got two of his knives, and I think a bunch of other people have his knives. I think Elliot's got his Spidey Chef and stuff. So yeah, it's one reason I'm sending this guy out today to Steve, and that's why I wanted to get this review done. So this morning I woke up early, and instead of surfing or doing anything fun like that, well, I did something fun, but I went ahead and sharpened this guy up, and I did get him hair whittling. Maybe I'll put that on the page right now. Up on the screen. This guy is hair whittling after sharpening, and I finished him at about, I did 600 on the diamond stones on the KME. I went up to 600, and then I went ahead and stropped from 3 micron to 1/4 micron. And I did get a hair whittling edge. It's not amazingly hair whittling. I'm not sure, where I might have, just buffed the edge a little maybe in stropping or something. But yeah, it's really sharp. Really keen, guys. and I'm sure Steve will be happy to get a sharp knife. I would have sent him one without sharpening, but I wanted to, I wanted to sharpen it up, and I wanted to give you guys a review on the sharpening. Anyways, so the hype of this knife. I know I kind of rambled there at the beginning. So the hype was that it was that Delica size. From what I had heard, it's like the upgraded Delica. I was really intrigued by that because I do love the way the Delica feels in hand. I love the ergos of this knife. I love the carry of this knife, so I figured an upgraded Delica is a no-brainer. It had a slicey M4 blade from what I could tell. Very thin blade stock and everything, so I figured it'd be a good thing to try. It was a Tai Chung titanium frame lock, and at the time I was really intrigued by them, and I wanted to get a few of them for sure. I got the Spidey Chef, and now I got this guy. I was really happy to try those out. Also it was discontinued. We saw this year that this was going to be discontinued, and there were some deals out there, so I went ahead and grabbed one just because, I couldn't refuse, and I did want to try one before they were all gone. And then also, it just had the Spidey hole and flipper. So it has the Spidey hole just like your Delica, and you can thumb flick or Spidey flick, but it also has that flipper tab, which, it's not very common on Spydercos, and I wanted to try some Spyderco flippers. So, yep, I went ahead and went for it. And the reality, once I got the knife and used it, let's just say when I got the knife, it wasn't amazing flipping action. I will say that. It was a little gritty in the pivot, and you could feel it. Like, even when in my unboxing, you could see when I would do this, it was not smooth, although you can see now that is nice and smooth. So it was good action. I got it out, and it, pretty much immediately flicked out, but it was gritty, and you could definitely fail, if you didn't get a good purchase on the flipper tab or give it a good, push. I didn't love, the action wasn't like blowing me away at the beginning, but it wore in very nicely. The fit and finish was excellent. Which you would expect from the Tai Chung factory. Beautiful standoffs, and just everything was perfect. I couldn't see anything. The centering's perfect. I couldn't find anything that bugged me about the fit and finish. It does have that satin, that almost like machine satin that Tai Chung uses, and I think that's what causes some of the grittiness in the action, like that weird, like what, how it wants to walk down. But once it wore in, it's very nice action, and the fit and finish, like satin, is beautiful. The jimping's not as aggressive as your Delica or your PM2s or Para 3s. This is more grippy. This is more just like, rounded over as Tai Chung normally does, but it's grippy enough. The purchase on this knife, you're not going to slip because of that. But everything else was really nice. The blade was as slicey as I had imagined, very thin behind the edge as far as I could tell. I'm going to go ahead and get the calipers out now. I have not done this yet, so you guys are seeing I'm doing it for the first time right now. $17. Yeah, that's about where I would assume. And this is with a 17-degree edge. Yeah, we got 17. So 17 thousandths behind the edge with a 17-degree edge. Definitely gets thicker out there. Got about 20 thousandths, I think, out by the tip. Oh, yeah, I just freaking hit the edge. Okay, so 19 thousandths at the tip. Yeah, sorry, Steve. I did just touch the edge. Oh, God. I don't have time to fix it either. Sorry, Steve, if that is a little... I just hit the apex a little. You might have to strop it or something. You can feel it on the fingernail. A little bit. Anyways, so yeah. Really slicey. It's also M4 steel, so you know it's going to perform. This M4 did sharpen up very nicely. It seemed to be just like any other M4 I've used, just sharpened up very, kind of glassy on the stones because it's that high heat treat, and just a harder steel. But it took a keen edge, and it really just came up really nicely. Pretty aggressive edge. I do really appreciate M4, and I just love that stickiness it gets to it. This one isn't as sticky as my Para 3 I did, but I think that was more just I was in a rush. I didn't take as much time and do it as nicely as I normally would. But Steve, you're a sharpener, dude. You're probably gonna do a better job than I would. So anyways, yeah, great blade, great shape. The action has really just nicely worn in, and it's like I can almost not even fail. I could if I just, that's what I have to do to fail it, like really try to fail it, and even then it still comes out halfway. So yeah, light switch, can light switch it, or you can push button it up. See, I failed it there, push button. You do have to load up the push button, but it will fly out. It gets good lockup. You guys know I had lock stick with this guy. I did take him apart, and when I took him apart and cleaned him, I wanted to see how it worked. I wanted to check it out. So this is fairly easy to take apart. Just these three standoffs. Just these three screws. The standoff and the back standoff here. The inside, there is a washer in there. It is fairly thin, the washer that they use in between the bearings, which seem to be steel bearings, steel detent ball. But there is a washer in between the titanium and the balls, but it did seem to be very thin, and it has like a track where the balls have been running. So I'll get into that in a second, guys, but I'm gonna go into what I feel they should have done here. It has really nice action. The teardown was fairly easy. Going back together was fairly easy. And now that lock stick is gone. So it must have been something with the way they had set it up. Maybe oil was in there or something. But that gnarly lock stick I had is gone. So yeah, that's nice. As far as carry goes, this is obviously a really nice carry. Very deep with that wire clip. This is a nice sturdy wire clip. And of course you guys know if you have the Delica, it's a great carry. This is even better. It's a little heavier than the Delica, but not by much. 2.98, the Delica is like right around there. It's a little lighter, 2.3. Yeah, you don't notice this little bit of weight that much. In hand, you can feel it though. This does feel lighter, but that's not necessarily a good thing for a lot of guys. And I mean, come on, 3-inch blade, 3 ounces. You can't complain about that. It is not milled on the titanium scales. There's no milling. So they could have even made this lighter, probably that weight, but not necessary. Kind of like the heft of this, and balance is just a little bit handle heavy, but not much. I'm not complaining. It feels good in hand. So yeah, great carry, great weight, really easy going in and out of the pocket with this titanium. They do bring it out onto the scales instead of the lock bar. The lock bar is kind of thin right here, but it doesn't seem to be, they have the lock bar stable, they have this over travel stop with the lock interface, so not worried about that. Really sturdy lock. Locks up about 50%. It's hard to tell on this. I'm not even gonna try and show you guys because it looks different with this with the interface. Looks like it's more than 50%, but it's not. So anyways, easy to disassemble. T8 screws, in all the screws. Really excellently done. Now I'm gonna get into like a little bit of my nitpicks on the knife, and I really love this knife, guys, and I think Steve's gonna love it as well, and I think you guys would love it. The ergos are excellent ergos. The The pocket clip kind of would start to irritate after a long while of cutting, but it's really not bad. I mean, it's really good. I mean, this is great in hand. And if you love the Delica, honestly, I think this is almost better in hand. I don't mind the clip, really. It's excellent, guys. Really good. And it just melted into my hand right off the bat. So, excellent ergos, guys. Excellent. But the things that I would say about this knife that I'm bummed about is, why did they discontinue it, for one? This is amazing. This is like the upgrade, just a great, like, oh, just an awesome knife that I can't believe they would discontinue. It blows me away because this thing is amazing. It's a Delica with a flipper. And it really it's just an awesome knife done by a great manufacturer. And I don't know why they would discontinue it. If I was Spyderco in this situation, and I don't know, maybe this is what they're doing, they're going to bring it back, revamp it, and call it something else. But I would have been just making this better, not discontinue it completely. I mean, they could have eliminated the flipper tab and just made this a larger Delica and it would have been fine. The flipper tab just adds another element that's pretty fun. And this thing flips great. Now, if I was Spyderco, I would upgrade the washers. I would go with a thicker steel washer in between the titanium and the bearings. I don't know why they went so thin, but that thin washer is definitely going to eventually need to be replaced, I feel like. But it's just the only thing that I feel like in the action it could be improved. Also, there's just like little things. I mean, these are all nitpicks, guys. These are all things that, like, you know, I just feel like they could make it better and bring it back and just kill it on this knife. I really do think it's a better Delica. The jimping, guys. This jimping right here on this lock bar is so unnecessary to me. I don't really understand it. They've got a cutaway, so you got plenty of room to get your thumb into it. The lock bar is pretty stiff, but it's not horrible stiff. It's not like the CRK. I mean, this is super stiff lock bar. But, you know, it's fairly stiff, but not horrible. Why do you need jimping here, guys? It's kind of unnecessary to me, and it digs into my finger. And after, like, flipping this thing for a long time, it does start to wear on my finger. And this actually gets me before anything else on the knife does, is this jimping. And it does. I don't really notice it in the ergos because they do it well, but it's just a little unnecessary in my opinion. I might just file it down once I get this knife back. I might just file that jimping down because I don't really think it's necessary. Now, Steve, you can comment on that to me when you get this. See what you think. I just, it's one of those things, especially with the lock stick when that first came to me, it just seems unnecessary to have jimping there. But yeah, other than that, guys, I mean, there's really not much I can say bad about this knife. The lanyard tube's done nicely for a lanyard. I don't use lanyards, but you know, the way it slid in and out when in taking it apart and everything is super easy, but it does rattle a little bit. And you could probably take it out if you wanted to. I noticed when I had it out, though, I put the knife together without it at first. Oh, that might be. No, it is. It's the tube. So there's a little rattle. It's really minor, guys. Just a great knife. Put together amazingly. And I really enjoy it. It's not that type of knife where you're going to be like a fall, like shut type of knife. I can shake it down real easily. And it does have a nice detent, as you guys can hear. It does suck it in. It's not like amazing, but it sucks it in nicely. And yeah, just everything about this knife is excellent. And if you love a Delica, I would highly recommend trying a Mantra if you can get your hands on one. And Spyderco, what are you doing? Why would you discontinue this knife? I mean, there are so many people out there that still love this thing and still want one. So it just seems a little weird to me that they would discontinue it. Maybe they're, like I said, maybe they're coming back this year with a new one, but I don't know why they would discontinue this one. It's such a great knife. You get so much cutting surface, guys. look at that cutting surface for handle ratio. The way that it falls back here, amazing cutting edge. I mean, you're looking at a solid 3 inches. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, solid 3 inches. Actually, like 3 1/8. So, you know, on a handle that's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 inches. You know, 3 1/8 inch blade. Can't complain about that. The comfort is amazing in my medium to large size hands. So yeah, just excellent all around, guys. Really enjoy the knife, and I think Steve's gonna enjoy it. I'm glad to let him give it a try and see what he says about it. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate your likes and thumbs up and your comments and everything, your subscriptions. So I really enjoy doing this, guys, and I enjoy all you guys. So have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video.